So with those reinforcement, what was your family dynamic like? Did you grow up in a home with a two-parent household? Like, what was that like for you growing up?
To start off, I was actually born in prison.
Okay, wow.
My first time meeting or seeing my biological father was in his casket. My biological mother, I recall seeing her or being with her maybe one time. And I also have 21 biological brothers and sisters,
Wow.
and I only know of maybe 6 of them. So I grew up in a home because my biological mother's cousin, who I call mom now, she picked me up 10 days later from the hospital. So I grew up the only child, but I knew of 4 of my biological sisters. I didn't meet my other 2 brothers who are on my dad's side until after he ended up passing away. So I always had a yearn to be around siblings because I knew I had them, but I grew up in an only child environment. So basketball was a way for me to stay busy. That's how I also got into doing videos and skits. So anybody who's been following me for a while know I do skits as well. I got videos of me talking to myself in the same frame as well. And that grew from me wanting to talk to a baby brother, me wanting to talk to an older brother. So the conversations that I had in my head, I would have that with myself and create content for the world. And, you know, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, adversity is the mother of creativity. So I didn't let the condition of me being born, I didn't let the condition of me growing up or the situation that I was in stop me from being creative or stop me from being productive. That was actually like fuel to my fire to go out and just be something in this world.
So that's very touching, man, because seeing your father for the first time in the casket and your mother, is she out? How long was she? Who was in? So what was your relationship with your mother?
My biological mother?
Biological mother.
I didn't live with her. She dead as well.
Okay, she passed. So did she pass, right? Like what made her not, what kept you from being with your biological mother after birth?
Well, she did drugs. She was on crack, I believe. And I remember I was taken over there one time to stay with her, and it's not that she gave me back, but I was just going over to spend time, and she was like, I cry too much. I cry a lot. But she just wasn't in a condition, I guess, to take care of a child, you know, so I was given away to, my mom now, which is her biological cousin.
So growing up, did they always tell you like, okay, this is your biological mom and the relationship, or was it a point in time in your life where they was like, okay, let's have a sit down, I'm not really your mom?
No, she always told me that. She told me everything. She told me about, certain family members, because I didn't get any money from my father dying. Certain family members was stopping me from getting money. She told me about, this is your real father right here. This is your real mother. This is what happened. You was born in prison. You got 21 brothers and sisters. So she always was honest with me. Wow. And told me about everything.
Okay, so with knowing that, did you ever grow up, and probably natural, but you ever grow up with any resentment towards your parents?
Yeah. I used to think early on that it didn't affect me, but growing up, I used to think in my head, I wonder what my father would do. I wonder what my biological father looked like when he was younger. I used to have thoughts like, why didn't he come and get me? Right. You know what I'm saying? Why didn't he ask about me? So I had those thoughts definitely as well. I actually used to look up his name and try to see if I can see any pictures, see any stories about him. I recently looked up his obituary, and I found out that the same day that his obituary went public is actually the same exact day that my book published.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So what was your father's background like, saying up to his death? Like, did he live like on a kind of a straight and narrow? Like, what was his story?
I honestly have no idea. I heard he was a pimp or something.
Okay.
I don't know. Some things are kind of vague. Okay. Because when I was young, I used to try to put things in the back of my head.
I got you.
Like I had one dream before. I had a dream that my mom was screaming out, crying. This is the only really dream I remember of her. And she was like, they trying to kill me.
Wow.
And, she was doing drugs or whatever. And she said, they trying to kill me. But as far as my biological father goes, all I know is that he worked for the city. Okay. Had a bunch of children, obviously. And that's pretty much it. I know, I also know that I have his mother was Hispanic or Mexican, so I got a little of that in me. And I don't know any of those family members. In fact, I just recently found one of my brothers on his side by looking up the obituary. So I started to go through the names that I read and looked them up on Facebook. And I saw one and I said, this must be him. So I hit him up and that's actually him. So I just recently, like literally maybe 6 months ago, found a new brother that I never met
Wow.
before.
Are you on a quest to try to find all of them?
Not really.